All right, let's let him in. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Wow.
Hello, Mark.
Hello. Lovely to see everybody.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hello.
Another amazing turnout. I can already see it's happening. We have a lot of people that are still arriving. So
Yeah.
give me one moment before I get started here.
Mark, you got to make everybody like wait for like 5 minutes and then make an entrance like Elvis.
Yeah, but I know, but I'm not trying to be Elvis.
We'll wait for you, Mark. We'll wait for you.
Thank you for saying that. You're so kind. I just want us all to meet and be a great community that gets things done. And I do love what's happening.
What Elvis would say. That's what Elvis.
I'm glad you're here tonight, Scott.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So again, we had over 300 people that registered. So we've done 6 events and we've had over 300 people registered every single event. We were actually having great success. We've now passed 1,300 followers on our LinkedIn Venture Starters page. And if you haven't clicked to follow, please look in the chat. Everybody should be opening their chat because chat is where everything is going to happen. So that's where you're going to meet everybody, and that's where all the announcements are. So if you aren't following our Venture Starter page, please do follow us there. Also, we now have a YouTube channel. So if you would love to, I'd love it if you would subscribe. A lot of people are watching the YouTubes on our venturestarters.com website, and it doesn't allow them to subscribe. So it'd be nice if you can make it directly now to YouTube and join in so we can build that up. We've had over 1,000 people watch each of the replays of our events. So great participation. Also, it'd be nice for those of you who are serious about networking if you'll keep your camera on as much as possible. This is partially also about your face and people getting to see you and getting to know who you are so that they feel comfortable. As you all know, my theory, not so much theory, it's just real. My experience is that investors like me like to invest in people through warm introductions rather than cold call pitches. So the reason for this event is to try and, create a lot more warm introductions that generate from this amazing network that we have. I still see a bunch of people in the waiting room. Are they still coming in? Okay. All righty. So, okay, a couple of announcements. I already mentioned chat. Please make sure your chat is open. Also, turn off your microphone and go mute, please. Everybody, go mute if you can, because that way we can have a really good functioning. Where's my mute button? Oh, mute off. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm learning how to use Zoom as we go through all these events. So hopefully I will get better at being a moderator as well. We also have about 1,600 email addresses from all the people that have registered for all of our events. So our community is growing really great. And, think about this, that, nobody ever launches anything in August. August is always considered the worst month to launch anything. Yeah, we're launching a networking event in the worst month, and look at the amazing results we're already getting. So I can imagine this thing's just going to keep growing as the year goes. Also want to just mention that, sorry, I'm looking at some notes here while we let the rest of the folks that are waiting in the waiting room come on in. So I believe that one of the keys to what we're trying to do is be a community that meets every single week. There really isn't anything like that I found, where there's sort of a weekly ongoing dialogue between a lot of founders and a bunch of investors. We had actual activity in the last 2 sessions where founders were meeting investors. Investors were literally reaching out to a few of the founders and starting conversations, and exactly the kind of magic that I know is possible when you bring so many people together, especially so many smart people, you know, because there's so many smart people that are part of our founder network and also investors. A lot of neat things can happen. That's exactly what is occurring right now. So please, you know, take advantage of this opportunity to get to know as many people as possible. When you give a 2-minute elevator speech, which is the most time we can afford to give anybody, no slides, just you have to speak. As soon as you're done, please go into the chat and put your name and email address and possibly your LinkedIn coordinates so people can get to know you. Really important, I believe, so that we can, you know, link everybody up. Let me see what else I got here. Just so you know, I do invest, but I can't invest in everybody. And the reason that I created this event was basically so that I could bring everybody together, because so many people are sending me decks that are amazing. I'm meeting so many of you. They're fantastic founders. They deserve a chance to find the funding they need. And hopefully in this event, we will get there. I do offer some services to startups, which you can learn about at the venturestarters.com website. There's a video that's titled How to Get Unstuck. Basically, if you have a $10,000 ad budget, I deploy it on LinkedIn to my network, and I place people into startups who have family and friend networks who have the right connections to either the people that you need to know or the investors that you need to know, so you can get warm introductions. It's a very fast process, and it's different than this, but because so many founders don't have $10,000 to spend on, you know, on getting themselves unstuck, this is the next best thing, is old-fashioned networking. And I'm really excited that we've got this platform to do. Size matters. Many of you heard me talk about the 1 in 100 theory, but basically at the end of the day, I believe, and have proven out multiple times, especially with the 30+ startup companies that I've helped, that if I can attract more than 100 people that are interested in helping a start out, there's always one or more than 1 in 100 who are sort of the perfect people. So it's a numbers game. And if we play that numbers game properly, you know, we can find those people that basically fit with you guys for each of your projects. Also, I want to apologize to the co-sponsors tonight. A few of you actually did invite a bunch of people in your network to attend tonight, and I lost my sheet of paper that had the names on it. But if you if you say something in the chat, my assistant who's managing the chat for me, I'm not on the chat. If you see my name and anything being typed, my assistant is doing that for me. Nevertheless, I would like to at some point be able to acknowledge everybody who in the community is actually helping us to invite people. When you do go to the LinkedIn event page, if you actually registered through that page, when you click the attend button, the very next thing that happens is that button turns into an invite button. And then when you click the invite button, all your first connections in LinkedIn will pop up, and you can click boxes of, you know, people that you either want that you know should be attending, or if they're total strangers to you, click those boxes and get them to the event, because then you can meet them. Here's at least an opportunity for you to meet them and other people in our community to meet. You can invite up to 1,000 people per week. That's the way LinkedIn has it set up right now. They're encouraging everybody to do this. You have to wait 7 days, full 7 days, literally to the minute, whenever you had started to do those invites before you can invite more people again, but you can do up to 1,000 a week. The rules of tonight are the same as they've been for the last few sessions. You have to be nice to everybody. We're not trying to embarrass anybody. Everybody needs to just act nice. And the investors, if we have time for questions, make them mostly softball questions that are easy to answer, because we're not trying to put anybody on the spot here. What we're trying to do is just get a sense of what everybody is doing. And for you fellow investors, we're just looking for the people that we want to reach out to in the chat and be able to arrange to get more information from. You know, there'll be an opportunity for that kind of communication. Also, everybody who hasn't visited the venturestarters.com website, please do. That's where all of our future events are located, and you can register for all of them. I think I'm hearing something I need to unmute here. Or unmute. Okay. Let's see. So before I turn the floor over to Luke for a brief moment, first I want to thank Luke. He's been helping me build this entire community. He's a great guy. But before we do the Startupbride pitch, which I love the Startupbride event, I just want you all to know when Luke describes it, I'm on the investor panel, great people. The people who own it and run it are fantastic. And if you would like to do a full pitch with your slides, the whole on presentation to investors, a normal pitch night, Startupbride is absolutely a place that you should check out and participate in. But before we get to Luke, I just want to say the way that we're going to handle tonight's the same as the last two nights. For the new people who have not pitched before to our community, I want you to go to and you want to pitch tonight, go to the reaction button on the bottom and look for the raise hand digitally, option, and raise your hands. The Zoom's going to put you in an order that is whatever order that is probably first come, first serve. And then for those of you who have pitched us in the past, which is great, happy to have you pitch again, but wait 5 or 10 minutes before you raise your hand, because I do want to get the people, in who have never pitched to us so we can get to know who all of them are. It just seems fair and the right thing to do, at least at this stage. Like I mentioned the last 2 weeks, we probably eventually will do breakout rooms and other programs. I'm already planning a life science, very specific project for next month. And we may do a few other very specific meetings that are just for certain portions of our community. But we're not at that stage now. Right now, where we're at is we're all a bunch of strangers to each other. We're trying to get to know each other. So the key right now is just, as much FaceTime as possible, just to get to, show each other who we are and start to interact in the chat. Most of our investors have told me that they're planning on just being on, basically mute with no camera on because they're afraid of 40 people pouncing on them with, their venture. So we do have investors in the room. Now, that said, we have some brave investors who don't mind speaking up and sharing, themselves. And we've had that happen in the first couple of sessions. And for those of you who are brave investors, please do engage and be involved. And with that said, I'd like to just have Luke spend 2 minutes, hopefully just 2 minutes, on Startupbride. Luke?
Yeah. Actually, I think that Nick Kolev is here.
Oh,
Nick
beautiful. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Let's have
yeah,
Nick. Absolutely. I didn't know Nick was here. I would love to have Nick speak to us for 2 minutes on Startupbride, if you're here, Nick.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I thank you for the opportunity. I also want to congratulate Luke for the extreme success helping Mark to promote this event and grow the community. Luke is Startupbride's Chief Marketing Officer, and we kind of lended him to Mark to help promoting this event. Startupbride is a hub offering services to startups, connecting startups with investors and advisors. We have online events every other Thursday. We have one tomorrow. We are sold out, but you're more than welcome to get tickets for our next events. It is very much like this event, but more focused. We allow startups to pitch in front of 5-6 investors, and then we have one-on-one conversations with investors and startups. And it's been very successful. We run this for more than a year and a half now, and Mark November has been very active and very helpful with our events. We also offer a great number of services in helping startups connect with investors. We create online profiles and then basically pitch your company to our private network of investors, which currently is about 200 angels and VCs. Again, thank you very much, Mark, for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to a great event tonight as well.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, I can't say more. Startupbride is absolutely amazing. Please check them out. So we've got 16 people that have already raised their hand, and if the others who now have pitched us in the past also want to pitch again, you're welcome to start to add to the list as well. I'm just going to go in the order that I see that we have from Zoom. So the first person is Rebecca Barkin. Welcome, Rebecca, and please share information about yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's only my second time attending, my first time speaking. I'm Rebecca Barkin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Formly. I've spent 25 years in technology, and as we know, everyone uses forms on the internet. Forms are involved in so many of our daily interactions and tasks, things like healthcare, purchases in e-commerce, registering for events like this one, applications that are very important, and a number of other things. But forms have largely not kept up with the times. They're still the same old technology, and they really don't have the ability to meet users where they are. So 67% of users today abandon web forms. Meet Formly, the most human, no-code, omni-channel form app. So Formly meets users where they are. One single form allows users to engage via text, email, any URL embedded on a site, floating, or as a pop-up. Formly is the most human, no-code, omni-channel form app. It integrates SMS marketing, video storytelling, and peer-to-peer fundraising in one unified experience. There are a number of different use cases for Formly. Formly integrates with over 3,000 platforms, including things like Shopify, Slack. We sit in a $2 billion market. We compete with a bunch of unicorns like Typeform, Jotform, FormStack, but they are all billion-dollar valuations. But we are the only platform first to market with true texting forms that can conduct nuanced conversations based on programmable chatbots. We have a two-way texting feature, and all of the data that is collected, including the text conversations, are extensible to CRM and APIs. So Formly is built for today's internet. We have great traction. We have about 1,800 signups so far. We've sent over 2 million texts so far this year, and we've helped nonprofits raise more than $4.8 million as of last month. So we have our product available in beta. We have a demo available, and we're looking to connect with advisors and investors. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, okay, so fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca. Are there any questions from any of the investors, if you can make them quick?
Yeah, Rebecca, just curious, this is Jeff Erickson, I'm an angel investor, but wondering what kind of revenue are you guys seeing at this point?
So it is our first year in business. We're projecting about $50,000 in revenue this year, but we have a great growth plan that puts us on track to be profitable in year 2, and would be happy to share more details with you about that plan offline.
Very cool.
Perfect. Okay, well, we're going to just keep moving on. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you being a brave investor to speak. Okay, we're going to move on to Matthew. Matthew represents a company. He's joining us from Israel, and this company dominates the locksmith industry in Israel, which is a very, security conscientious nation. 85% of all the locksmiths in Israel were certified through his company's their company, and he's now moving that company to the United States. Let's hear from Matthew. I'm getting involved with this one. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Okay, so over the last 10 years, we've developed and perfected a training that certifies locksmiths, professional locksmiths, and we've seen tremendous demand in the sense of people who are interested in, they already have a 9-to-5 job, let's say, and they would like an additional income to be able to cover their bills. A lot of people this day, especially with the economy, the way that it's going, everybody's looking for an extra buck, whatever they could do to scourge things up. So what we've developed is a simple and fast way, without sacrificing on the quality, to certify and prepare locksmiths to go straight into the workforce. Now, we've had tremendous success, like Marcus said, over the last 10 years. We've certified 85% of the locksmiths in Israel. And just to put things into the right perspective, in Israel, there are 9 million people. There's 28,000 locksmiths. There's 1.8 million locksmith service calls a year. In the United States, a population of 335 approximately million people. There are currently, according to the Federal Bureau, there's only 16,000 active full-time locksmiths in the United States. I don't know if any of you have ever had an experience. I don't know if everybody's here from the US, but if you've been in the US and you've ever been in need of a locksmith, I guarantee you yourself can testify for how long you've had to wait and how much you've had to pay for a very short service, quick service, 7 minutes maybe. So what we are seeking to attack now in moving over to the US is obviously taking our expertise in this area and our model that has been tremendously successful. We're moving it over to the US, which is a significantly larger market. It's a market of people who are in need of an additional income, in need of a primary income, and this is going to be a very big operation.
I really like this one, especially when there's an existing model that's already proven and working and it's just being expanded on. Those are some of the models I like best as an investor. And thank you, Matthew, for getting up at ridiculous hour in Israel to be able to join us today to give us that pitch. We're going to move on. So our next up is Dominic Blue.
Hi, thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to do this little pitch. My name is Dominic Blue. I am a United States Marine Corps veteran turned software engineer with experience at companies like Zendesk and Salesforce. And I'm currently a graduate student at Georgia Institute of Technology, studying computer science. And I am the founder and CEO of TrueMe. TrueMe is an online lodging marketplace for traveling medical professionals. And to summarize the problem, I'd like to give you a little scenario. Imagine every 13 weeks, you had to use a combination of Airbnb, Craigslist, Vrbo, and approximately 15 Facebook groups to find lodging in the state that you were traveling to for that 13-week contract. For 1.7 million travel nurses, and addition to hundreds of millions of allied health professionals, that's what their experience is every time that they are awarded a work contract and they have to find lodging in a state that they're traveling to. And that is the problem that we're solving. We launched in July with a mobile beta, which is currently in the Android and iOS app stores. And 3 weeks ago, we launched our web app with an approximate 65% week over week user growth. This week, we are turning on monetization on the platform and conducting our first transactions on the platform, and now raising our initial pre-seed fund for with our friends and family and our angel round.
Okay, great. Well, since we have so many people who are lining up to speak,
Mark, can I ask you a question really quick?
Sure, real quick.
Are you launching regionally? Number one, or are you launching nationwide? And then also, are you kind of targeting consumer being the nurses, or are you targeting hospital groups that would kind of roll that out to the travel nurses that are visiting?
Yeah, great question, Scott. Our two-sided marketplace will involve obviously the hosts who have the housing inventory, and our initial feedback's coming from travel nurses. So our initial model is consumer, but we're evolving into a B2B to C type model where we're offering an MLS type subscription to staffing agencies and hospitals so that they can provide that service to their candidates and to their traveling staff. This also has applications in the university space and the military space as well.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else real quick, or you can meet Dominic in the chat room. All right. Next up is I'm terrible with names. Amitai.
Amitai, I know it's a tricky one.
I apologize.
So hi, my name is Amitai. I'm from Tel Aviv, Israel, and I love listening to podcasts. And it turns out that I'm definitely not alone. Actually, every month there are more weekly podcast listeners than people having Netflix accounts. This is huge. And I notice that something is missing when I listen to podcasts. The experience is passive. And when I want to hear what other people are thinking about a podcast or express myself, I found it very difficult. I might go to Facebook groups or Reddit channels, but it's not coherent and it's not centralized in one place. That's why I created Podies. Podies is a social network that connects to your streaming service, like Spotify, and creates a time-based discussion, bringing everyone that listens to the same podcast to the same place. Podies is currently aiming to launch its alpha in the next 2 weeks. We are currently raising $500,000 pre-seed round, and we are very excited about making podcasts a social experience. Thanks for the opportunity.
So how is this different from, Zoom and other existing systems that are out there? I'm not sure I picked that up.
That's a great question. So Zoom and also platforms like Clubhouse requires everyone, in order to participate in the discussion, you are required to be on the same place at the same time. The good part about Podies is that it doesn't require everyone to be at the same place at the same time in order to take part in the discussion. And also, if you comment something about a podcast and I reply to you 1 year after, because it's time-based, I can just go to the podcast, see what you were speaking about, and comment about that again.
Oh, that is interesting.
You got me right?
Okay, that is interesting. Anybody else have any questions? All right, I appreciate that you're calling from Israel. Our second person from Israel today. Amazing. Okay.
Actually, right now I'm in Palo Alto, but.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Okay. Well, great. Thank you for coming. We're going to move on then to Brian. Brian, you're up next.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was having technical difficulties last week. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Deutsch, founder and CEO of Earthgrown Smoothie Bar. We help people live healthier lives through our fresh fruit and vegetable smoothies, while offering an engaging and visually appealing ordering process. Smoothies from companies like Smoothie King, Orange Julius, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, and from my research, basically every smoothie business on the market use natural flavors that are high in unnecessary sugars. These syrups and purees are unhealthy, and these companies use marketing and advertising gimmicks to trick people into believing they're getting a healthy snack or meal, when in reality, if you order a mixed berry smoothie, for example, odds are it doesn't contain real or natural ingredients. Although some franchises occasionally add frozen fruit chunks to some smoothies, but they're always hidden in the freezer and you have no idea how much you're getting, or frankly, what you're actually getting with any smoothie. You basically are given a fruit-flavored milkshake. In addition, the current smoothie market has no real positive impact on other industries like agriculture or farming. The other problem with smoothies is the ordering process at these smoothie companies. They're not visually appealing, they're unengaging, and they're uninformative to customers. At Earthgrown Smoothie Bar, we believe that fresh fruits and vegetables are the key to creating the healthiest smoothies and humans on Earth. Next time you're at the airport, a sporting event, or even the food court, which are places that have the most natural foot traffic, look for the healthy options that are available. And you may notice, like I did myself, the little to no options you have. We're now living in a time where people are taking control of their health, wellness, and nutrition. This can easily be shown by the health and wellness market that is currently a $1.5 trillion industry. And just the smoothie market alone is a $12 billion industry. and both are growing by about 10% each year. Earthco Smoothie Bar is a build-your-own smoothie company that uses fresh and healthy ingredients while blending the ordering process of companies like Subway, Chipotle, or your favorite Coca-Cola company, creating a visually appealing and authentic customer experience that helps people continue to live healthy lives, one ingredient at a time. Now say hello to the freshest and healthiest smoothies on earth. Thank you for listening and thank you for your time.
It sounds delicious. I'd like to try someday, but unfortunately your connection is still not so sharp. So you kind of faded in and out. Leave your information in the chat so we can, those that are interested can connect with you and maybe get, you know, on a phone call or see your deck. Appreciate you coming very much.
Fantastic.
All right, Aaron Greenberg, you are up next.
Thanks, Mark, and thanks everybody. I co-founded Biograph with my brother about 4 years ago, and we were responding to a demand of family businesses and family offices that were multi-generational and wanted to tell their story to avoid the shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves fate. And our service is relatively expensive and requires a lot of time, labor, and resources. And over the last 4 years, we've continually gotten requests by people wanting to tell their stories, but not wanting to spend starting at $100,000 to do so. And so in order to scale our business and accommodate this demand, we designed an app that empowers everybody to tell their own stories in their own voices on their own time. And similar to the virtue of Amitai's platform, it's also asynchronous. So you can be in the room with people and interview each other and have conversations that way, but also can build a story over days, weeks, months, years, whether you're in the same city or across the globe. And so currently we've been revenue funded from the start. Our book projects have been profitable and funded development. And we may continue going down this track, but we're also exploring raising some seed capital to supercharge our growth of the technology. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? I guess not. All right, so Aaron, you know, doesn't mean that there aren't interests. Just go into the chat and leave your information and we'll see what happens.
Will do.
All right, up next, Eric, you'll have to have your camera on if you want to pitch us. Eric Hodge, you're next on in the queue. I'll have to come back to you if you're having problems getting your video going. I'm going to move on. We'll try and bring you on when we see you. Next up is Mahad Williams. I don't know if I got that right. I see.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. Okay, you're up next.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm actually in real estate. My name is Mahad Williams. I'm an investor in multifamily real estate. I play the role of acquisitions manager. We kind of structure our deals through a syndication model, which means we're always looking for partners, general partners, and limited partners to partner up with. We scale 100 units and above. Mainly looking right now, our team is mainly looking in the Houston and Dallas-Fort Worth MSA, and also Tampa Bay, I believe. Almost been in the multifamily for almost a year. Haven't yet to close my first deal, but like I said, we were always looking to raise money for upcoming deals, and yeah, just looking to partner with anybody interested in multifamily.
Okay, great. For real estate investors, here's an opportunity. You'll leave your information in the chat, and that would be perfect. And we're going to move on to Jurgen Jurgen. I'm the worst person to be the moderator when it comes to names. I apologize in the community. What's your real name?
Hi, Mark. Glad to meet everyone. The real name is actually Jürgen.
Jürgen.
Walrath. So I'm, and I've heard everybody butcher my name, so that this is no different. I'm the CEO.
Whoops. Oh, you need.
There
I'm
you go.
sorry.
I'm
Go
back.
ahead. I accidentally did that. My
Okay.
mistake. Okay.
So I am co-founder of a company called Ruby. It's a healthcare platform. If you think of what is currently wrong with our healthcare system, is that patients come in, there's too little time that the physician can spend with a patient. He might just at best have looked at the previous encounter, looked at the latest in maybe blood results or imaging, and comes to a decision. From the patient's perspective, he gets suboptimal results. From the physician's perspective, they actually end up being far more stressed because of the EHR systems that have been forced upon them, that were never made to help or assist a physician, but were basically created as a way for regulatory compliance. And so the end result is that they spend about 50% of their time on administrative overhead, and it's been shown through statistics that 10 to 20% of physician burnout is directly attributable to EHR systems. So we, together with my co-founder, who is a physician, developed a new platform that will basically do three things. It will guide, and it's an AI-based system, so it'll guide the physician through the workflow so he doesn't miss any points. And when I say he, I include she. It then reaches a diagnosis and gives a hierarchy that is totally transparent, states basically the sources of the diagnosis and how it reached that point. It takes into account the entire history of the patient, not only the last encounter, and it takes into account the latest in medical research and peer-reviewed articles. We've been capturing data for the last 14 years. It's the platform, the AI system, and the diagnosis has been validated in 4 different pilot studies, 2 of them by OHSU with 100% success rate. We will, as a result, save the physician 50% of his time. It will reduce burnout amongst physicians, have better patient outcomes because the physician can spend more time with the patient, and avoids incorrect diagnoses. And it also, because the AI system includes CPT codes and SNOMED, ICD-9, ICD-10 codes, it automatically generates the right reimbursement code, so it never gets rejected. So essentially, you're making happier physicians and better outcomes for patients. I can't hear you, Mark. I think you are unmuted now.
I am. Sorry. So is your product ready to sell right now?
It is. It is a prototype. We can do demos. The reason why we trying to raise money, we want to convert it onto a scalable platform, which we believe will take between 12 and 15 months to complete, at which point we can enter the market and sell it first into clinical small clinics, where the physician makes the decision. And I've spoken to every physician so far I've raised it to, said, as soon as you've got this thing, come back to us because we're interested in this.
And where are you located?
We are in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, and how much are you looking to raise?
We are $2 million minimum, and that will get us past full development and get us into cash flow. If it is more than that, we could just expend more on marketing and sales at that point to get into the market faster.
All right, fascinating. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, I like this one a lot. I'd like to learn more about it.
Sure.
Very interesting. Okay, we're going to move on to John Wen.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm Dr. John Wen. I work for CDC for more than 20 years. In US, each year, more than 8,000 people, 800,000 people die from stroke and heart attack. This created a huge problem. There's two problems to reduce the death rate. One is lack of manpower, health professional to watch for the warning sign of stroke and heart attack. And the second major problem is that hundreds and thousands vulnerable devices on the market, they are not reliable to detect the stroke and heart attack. So I spent several years developing an AI platform, diagnosis tool, and emergency response device. I developed those. I received 3 patents for last 2 years for those products. We expect to launch their products and service in China within 6 months. After that, we should be able to launch the products in US. Potential market in US is $100 billion with 116 million of potential customers. Those customers are people with hypertension, high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes. They are all at the risk for stroke and heart attack. So our products and services on the market should be disruptive to the current passive emergency response. So we try to raise about $2.5 million, $1.5 million for marketing, $1 million to modify and to improve our software and hardware. Thank you.
Where are you located?
I'm located in US right now. I will be traveled to China by the end of this month to manufacture the products and
okay, well, does anybody have any questions? Then we'll move on. John, I'm actually interested in learning more. It was a little hard to understand exactly what your solution was, but I'm very interested in strokes and trying to solve that problem. So maybe if you can send me a deck, I'd be curious to learn more. We're gonna.
Mark, I'm also.
Yeah, oh, Jack, I'm glad you arrived. Please introduce yourself. Yes.
I'm Jack Torben. I'm a CEO of ComSciences, which is a consulting firm that helps startups get funded, helps position them, work through all of your issues, your finances and everything, and connect you with the right people, as well as work on your team if necessary to help you with the various components that you need to pull together, including marketing. And I'm a regular on Mark's events normally, only today I had to go to the launch of a new electric vehicle for the with the city of Beverly Hills of all things. And I just got in. So I'm just catching up on what everybody's doing. And if you want to reach me, I'll put out my email and phone number, and you can get a hold of me on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, and Jack, Jack might be a good connection for you, John. And maybe others here as well, for sure. So, okay, terrific. We're going to move on to the next speaker, whose name Shigozi. Sorry if I mispronounced.
It's fine. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this platform. My name is Chigozie. I'm presently in Boston. I just finished an MBA program at Babson, and I'm working on a product called Brand Zoos. Over 76% of the businesses in Nigeria still conduct their operations from a physical location. That's, they don't have any digital presence. And this is over 30 million businesses we are talking about. And so what we are doing is we are building a digital directory, something like a Shopify or a Yelp, for the Nigerian market, to bring these businesses to a digital space so that they can meet more customers, showcase their products, document their operations, and also conduct transactions online. We have a pilot that is out already with over 8,000 businesses using this pilot. And we are looking to connect with investors over here. So everyone in Nigeria presently has a mobile phone, a smartphone, and the internet penetration is getting very fast. But a platform to bring these businesses to the digital space where they can connect with customers and other people that are willing to do business with them is not available. So we are working on that earnestly.
Sorry, I put myself on mute. Okay, interesting. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, if you could put your name and information into chat, that would be great. Then others will be able to reach out to you. And I so appreciate you pitching us. We have up next, Mark. There you go.
Well, thanks, Mark. Thanks, everybody, for the time here. My name is Mark Colangelo in Orlando, Florida. A little bit about me. I've been involved in the healthcare industry for a couple dozen years. Fortunately and unfortunately, in the startup ecosystem, most of that time, I've been involved with about a half dozen startups, 3 exits, 2 not so good outcomes. So I've seen a little bit of the gamut from from small to big companies, one going public. I was only a co-founder in one of the exits, so that was a different experience. But the reason here for the time we have, I'm a co-founder of a company called Putt-Tracks, and hopefully this is my transition into the sports, really what wakes me up in the morning. And we have a golf product that we have developed. We will be the first product that will actually let people with a live golf ball do gaming. It has some AR components to it. It has an element of using computer vision to help you just have a lot more fun practicing or playing with your friends, not on the course, but off course. The problem today that we first set out to solve, and it kind of evolved into this gaming and instruction platform, was there's a lot of technology in golf. It's actually exploding. It's been a number of years where a lot more tech's coming out. And people are consuming it in record levels. It's kind of like baby formula, but for a different reason. It's been back ordered, and golfers are just consuming technology in the last couple of years. So, but what's missing is there's no technology that is, like I mentioned, using the computer vision to capture the live balls on a putting surface, which if you play golf, you would know that's the one skill you use in half of your shots. If you don't play golf, it's a really important feature for scoring, and it fills out the whole kind of spectrum of getting data from all of the clubs. When you play golf, you have 15 clubs. This is the one club that makes up half the strokes, and nobody's been able to figure out the tech model. So we have patent pending technology that lets us build the right method to do this. And we've already went through 2 iterations of product. I'll try and wrap it up here. The market is, the market for golfers is about 60 million global. But interestingly, there are mobile apps that have more than 50 million downloads. So there's a really interesting dynamic going on where there's more people getting into golf than even are being counted in the golf space in terms of the actual data figures. So there is a growth in that way that we're planning to capture, both with the gaming side as well as the data side for the data geeks. So we're raising $1 million, and yeah, just appreciate any contacts or any feedback anybody has.
Okay. Well, do we have any golfers out there that have any interest in this?
I do.
Yay.
I've been a golfer since I was 6 years old, so I think there's something to it. I'd be really interested in learning more. If you could email me, you've got my email address on the chat, and send me your deck and so forth. And rather than spend other people's time now, we can discuss things over the phone.
Terrific.
But I'd be really interested in working with you. I grew up as a golfer with a golf club in my hand. You know, some people grow up with skates. I grew up with golf clubs.
You're the lucky one, because if you didn't grow up with a golf club in your hand like me, you started when you were 22.
Yeah.
You would have to say, I'm sorry to hear that I've played that long now, because
my mother had me playing golf when I was 4 years old.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mark, I also messaged you directly in the chat. We've got several projects in the golf space that two of them are tech related, and we've had quite a bit of success there. So please send me over some information. Let's connect.
Well, thanks, Scott. Thanks,
it just
Jack.
seems like, you know, golf you would be able to find the money for because of the community that's the golf community. So pretty excited about what you're doing there, Mark. Okay. Thank you very much.
Everybody.
If you can go on mute, that would be great. And everybody, please be on mute unless you're up next. In this case, it's Keith. You can unmute because you're up next.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'll try to keep this brief. So I wanted to start off with a little story. So my grandfather was recently involved in a hit and run. The scenario is that somebody rear-ended him. We didn't know until later that the person was drunk. When the person rear-ended him, he got out of the car. Him and my grandfather conversed. They acted like they were going to exchange information. In the meanwhile, the drunk driver was plotting and scheming. Somehow he was coherent enough to plot and scheme his escape. He called a tow truck driver. I don't know if they were in cahoots, but basically him and a tow truck driver, they left while he was, you know, pretending to give my grandfather information, acting like everything was okay. And I came to the scene because my grandfather had called me because he didn't know what to do in a situation like this. And so by the time I got there, all I see is a tow truck and my grandfather trying to wave him down. So, you know, we got the number of the tow truck company. We went to the police, tried to get a police report, but unfortunately it was a dead end. So that made me think, you know, wouldn't it have been great if there was some automated technology, perhaps on a mobile phone, that could have guided my grandfather or any person like that who doesn't have the knowledge to what to do in a situation like that, exactly what to do step by step, and hence RecFix. So what is RecFix? RecFix is an automated platform, a mobile device used to navigate the auto accident victim through the entirety of the process from when they get in an accident all the way until they get their settlement claim, using automation technology. So that means we're going to guide them in real time, interactively, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, but most importantly, why they do it. So by talking to a lot of people, we figured out the biggest pain point was, hey, nobody just wants to deal with a car accident. Nobody wants to deal with the process. It's a pain in the rear end. People would just rather go on with their lives, get their settlement check, and move on. So guess what? RecFix is exactly that. On a mobile device, completely free for the user. All you have to do is report the accident, or if you are unable to report it, we have collision detection that will automatically detect the accident using our accelerometer technology. Literally, once we're notified, it's like an easy button. Literally, once we get notification, we guide you in real time what to do. So that means connecting you to service providers. If you need a lawyer, if you need a car dealership, if you need a tow truck, we will guide you through that in real time. And while doing that, we will also streamline and compile all the information that we've navigated you through and guided you through and informed you of. So that means, you know, keeping up logs, daily journals of how your pain, you know, like if you had, for example, you may be feeling fine at the scene of the accident, but 7 days later, you may have a neck pain, you may have a back pain. Well, guess what? Nobody really knows what to do in that situation. So the point is, being so multifaceted, people are really confused in this space. And would you really expect a person who hasn't really been in an accident, maybe if they have maybe one time to battle an insurance company and get in a settlement claim, who's dealt with millions and millions of these types of cases? So the business model is it's free for the user. The service providers pay a subscription for direct marketing access to the user and ease of onboarding friction. And with that, currently, we plan on going to market in the next couple of weeks. So far, we have about 300 people waiting to onboard once the MVP is launched, and we have our first beta testing group. Right now, we're currently trying to get into an accelerator, and we've raised 80,000, and we have another 25,000 committed in the span of 2 weeks. So we've just started our fundraising, and we're looking for anywhere from 750,000 minimum to 2.5 million maximum. And that is because we found initial market validation. So we started off in the Houston and Texas market. So all the larger cities, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. And, you know, we've gotten overwhelming, you know, positive feedback from this and from our model. So we're looking for the $1 million to expand and, you know, scale our services out.
Okay, that's really clever and a great idea. So is your product ready? You're just needing money for marketing and growth, or you still have to develop the product?
So yes, in the next few weeks, it will be ready. So we do have a prototype, but the MVP will be ready in the next 2 weeks.
Very nice. Okay, it seems like you might also be able to white label that for a bunch of different companies that would pay you for that, maybe like AAA or big insurance companies to offer it for free to every one of their people. But that was just an idea. Does anybody have any questions?
Just one quick question. You mentioned you're looking to go into outside markets. I love that you're starting in one region, you know, and really proving the concept. But have you proven the concept yet in that region, or are you, I mean, without having a product actually available before you try to expand into other markets? Or just curious what your mindset is there.
Absolutely. So the you know, the initial, at least conceptual proof of concept was we targeted, like you said, the larger cities in Texas. We've talked to about roughly over 1,000 end users, which were to be potential accident victims. We've talked to roughly a couple hundred service providers, mainly dealerships and personal injury attorneys. And about roughly 75 to 80% of those people overwhelmingly wanted the app. They wanted the services. That being said, to me, that was the green light to where now we still definitely want to focus in Texas. That's like the main market still. So once we get the MVP, we'll definitely, you know, scale out to Texas, all of Texas. But once we get that market validation in Texas, we definitely want to go nationwide and then potentially go global with this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else real quick?
Hi, Keith. I actually am in the insurance industry. How are you going to compete with companies like Progressive that already have apps for claims, Travelers? Some of the bigger insurance companies out there already have mobile apps, and the adjusters work hand in hand with the people in the accident. So I'm just curious how that would integrate.
Absolutely. So one of the key features that by doing research, we found that no other company has is the collision detection, the automatic collision detection using a mobile phone. So all the insurance companies mentioned, including even like Tesla, for example, they're working on accident collision technology, but that's all hardware dependent, right? Nobody has the accident collision technology on their mobile phone. So that means we're vehicle agnostic. And not only that, the person doesn't have to, you know, go on the app and report necessarily that it's been an accident. We're literally going to notify them first. And then we're going to guide them through their entire scope and the entire process of the accident. So not just when they get in an accident, but also connecting them to service providers, telling them step by step what to do, logging information. So we're essentially want to be the Amazon of auto accidents. We're basically that centralized repository that tells them exactly what to do, when to do it. But then also when they need certain pieces of data, like when they talk to a lawyer or an insurance company, we'll have all that information and evidence like streamlined in a repository on demand.
Okay, that was really interesting. Thank you so much, Keith. You can leave your information in the chat so people can get a hold of you. Karin, you're up next.
Hey, you said my name right. I love it.
Well, you spelled it out on purpose for me, so I didn't have to guess wrong. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Hey, everybody. I'm Karin Frame out of Boulder, Colorado. I'm a 3-time founder and CEO of Makina. We're a big data platform where we incentivize consumers for buying healthy and sustainable products while providing manufacturers with the aggregated real-time data and insights they need to scale. Think of Makina as Rakuten meets Nielsen meets the $300 billion natural products industry. So a little bit about me. I grew up on a lake near a field that was sprayed with pesticides every year. And as a result, everyone got sick. So I know the importance of what you put in and on your body, and I'm not alone. 98% of consumers in the United States would buy better, especially if it was affordable. And brands are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on social media to get discovered, and even more for data with companies like Nielsen and IRI to figure out who their shoppers are, where they're shopping, and what's in their basket. So we have over 150 brand customers, including Conagra and Kellogg's, 115,000 active mobile users, and partners like IBM and KPMG. We sell our software as a service to brands and then license our data to retailers. Revenue has increased 140% from 2020 to 2021, and we're projecting 500,000 in sales this year in 2022. We've closed 600,000 in our pre-seed, and we won a grant from Kevin O'Leary from over 2,000 companies. Our global vision is about helping people lead healthier lives on a cleaner planet, and we are already making a ton of impact. So we're currently raising our $2 million seed so we can build our community into well over 100 million consumers, and would love to have you as part of our journey. Thanks.
Okay, sounds very nice. Karin, does anybody have any thoughts or questions?
One quick one, Karin. That's a great presentation, and I love what you're doing. I really do. What is and based on your model, when do you expect to be profitable?
Next year.
Okay, you're raising capital still, but you're expecting to be profitable next year?
Yeah. So we have a deal that we're about ready to close where we're anticipating anywhere between 2.4 and 4.8 million in revenue. We're only raising 2 million, so we're going to be profitable next year. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, is it possible that there's enough profit margin off of that deal that you don't need to raise money and you can bootstrap through that deal?
We have been very scrappy. I have been bootstrapping, using some of the revenue that we've gotten in the door, some grants, and obviously some angel money, and we were part of a couple of accelerators. And so we do need to raise the 2 million so we can scale quicker. But we've already had a handful of companies just recently reach out to us about buying us. So we know that with this 2 million, we're going to be able to get to at least 50,000 monthly active users, where we're going to get multiple offers.
Yeah, that does sound interesting. All right, well, thank you so much for presenting.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Diana is coming to us from Australia. I'm guessing the furthest away from us right now, but you're up next. You and I have had a chance to talk before, and I really like what you're doing, so please share.
Thanks, Mark. Good morning, almost lunchtime here in Australia. I'm the founder of Keywell, and my startup is focused on supporting parents raising kids with challenging behavior. And just on my story, I parented blindly for quite a few years until my son was diagnosed with ADHD. And at the time, although I had an answer for what had been going on, I had no tools to help me raise him. And, you know, like many parents, I found myself struggling without a village to help me. And when I was told I had an 8-month wait to see a psychologist and an occupational therapist, all I could think of was, so what am I going to do for the next 240 days? I was literally crying, thinking, you know, how do I move from where I am now to, you know, help every day? So I joined like a dozen Facebook groups with, some of them had 165,000 parents, and the stories, the questions and the problems were the same everywhere around the world. Help me, what should I do? I can't afford regular therapy. Why does it take so long to see a specialist? What's triggering my child? Basically, how do I get through this? And so KeyWell was born, and it's solving issues that these families live every day, like the cost and access to therapy, the parents' silent suffering, and that lack of the proverbial village that once upon a time existed to help raise kids. So I've launched an iOS and an Android. I guess I call it an MVP app at this stage. It's available in Australia. This was late last year. And so the last few months, I've been focused on learning more, interviewing users, and building a community around KeyWell to achieve that product market fit. I do have paying users, but I've identified the missing piece for real growth. And at this stage, I'd really love to extend my network and explore the role of advisors and mentors, and maybe even consider raising the seed capital to give me that runway to build the next phase. Thank you.
So do you have a roadmap of what you're going to do outside of Australia with what you're doing?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay, can you give us like a little tease of what you're thinking?
Yeah, okay. So the key problem that I found is, so the app right now allows parents to record a whole bunch of information and identify triggers. But the next piece is, so you've told me that there's an issue, tell me how I can do something every day to fix it. So I've created a section on my website. It's not done yet, but it's all about creating programs, discrete programs that parents can use as part of coaching every day, right? I haven't launched it. I'm still working with psychologists, and I'm already getting messages from Ireland and from the US and the UK saying, when's this going to be launched? Can you help me? Can you do what? And I said, okay, just wait. I'm still working through all of this. So the coaching piece is really important in these discrete programs, but also offer the app as a platform for coaches and psychologists across the world to deliver some of their services.
Any questions?
I'm also an EdTech founder in the neurodiverse space. I would really love to connect.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll send you a private message. So,
thanks,
yeah.
Michael.
Perfect example of why we're here, connecting people. Anybody else have a comment, question? Great. Okay, Diana, thank you for coming all the way from Australia. All right, next up is Andrew.
Hi, thanks. I'm Andrew Nahr. I'm president, CEO, and founder of MediaX Partners. We are building a platform called Rakoti that gives sports fans the thrill to collaborate with their favorite teams and players to preserve and relive their favorite memories through a variety of multimedia digital experiences. The benefit to the teams is that they are creating content that produces more longer engagement year-round. They're able to get better, more emotional data on their fans, and it opens up a variety of new revenue streams. We've been very fortunate to design a product with the input from more than 300 executives and end users at major pro teams and college athletic departments and entertainment companies. We've been validated by winning a national sports tech pitch competition and recently finishing in the top 10 in an innovation pilot program with Universal Parks. We've also been able to assemble a fantastic team that represents over 120 years of executive experience with pro and college teams as well. We are a multi-tenant SaaS platform. Our revenue model is based on a three-tier monthly subscription program. We have interest here in the US, but now we're getting interest from overseas for sports like Formula One, Premier League, cricket, and rugby. and also with dealing with individual athletes as well here in America around college, pro, and Olympic sports. We are doing a raise right now to finish out our product and launch to be able to deliver the product to our first round of customers. So thanks for your time.
How much are you looking to raise?
500,000.
Is that going to be your only raise, or is that just the next step of raises, and then there's another raise for marketing after that?
We're very fortunate that we have a very solid pipeline right now. We also have between our executive team and our advisory board, we have very strong connections throughout the world. We're also dealing with creating some strategic partnerships that will allow us to launch into Europe and Australia as well. So we feel like this will give us at least 2 years of runway, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of self-fund after this.
Anybody have questions?
I have a quick question. Love the model. Really big sports guy, as you can probably tell in the office here. But one quick question is, with well, first of all, what's the valuation you're raising 500,000 at?
5 million.
Okay. With your advisory board and a lot of the connections you have you kind of just found value in looking for outside investment? Have you not really kind of looked internally at raising that capital?
I've kind of self-funded to this point. We've been able to raise some to help finish our UX UI. We're really trying to keep our powder dry with our advisory board until our product's closer to finish more for, because these are very high level introductions that are being made. So that's really the value that they're bringing to us to help us scale quickly. But everybody's been, we've really started to raise just in the last about three to 4 weeks because we've been through getting the UX work done and then moving into this. And our model has expanded just because we're getting so much interest now around the NIL issue with college athletes. So we've been kind of working back and forth to find the right pricing model to deal with them.
Thank you very much. I have further questions, but if you could just leave your information in the chat, I don't want to take up any more.
Glad to. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else for a quick question? Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you, Andrew. All right, James, welcome back. You're up next.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, we were here last week. It was a great week. Looks like this week is going well, too. James Lupino, I'm the co-founder and director of Risk AI Corp. We're a joint venture of 2 IP companies. We are developing an ASIC to commercialize a very disruptive AI technology for AI training. As you may know, the AI industry is on an unsustainable path. The models are getting huge. They're over-parameterized. It takes a lot of data, and everyone's concerned about the power consumption in the future. It's going to consume everything that we're producing right now. So we need a change in the industry. As Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, says, just throw it away and start all over. Well, we have a technique that basically automatically will find a global minimum. AI training is basically a nonlinear optimization problem that you're trying to solve or find the minimum error. And we could do that in a single run. Why do we need an ASIC? Because this requires special math. It does not use your conventional floating point arithmetic. It uses modal intervals with an upper and lower bound. So NVIDIA's GPUs, Intel CPUs, they don't do the math efficiently. And therefore, we're going to develop a RISC-V processor. And the efficiencies are huge, 100x or more on power consumption. There's benefits not only in training, but in inferencing. When you can compress the model from several layers to one, you also get great benefits in the inferencing. So in your vehicle, in your satellite, or your edge processor, you have a lot less power to deal with. So we are seeking we're seeking up to 25 million. We do have one strategic partner on the RISC-V core, and happy to connect with customers. Last week, I think we got a couple of leads of customers and a couple investors. So this is a great network, and glad to be here again.
I'm glad you're back. Is there anybody else who has any questions? then you'll meet James in the chat. And thank you again, James. Michael, you're up next.
Hey, Mark. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me again. So my name is Michael Diego, and I'm building Wise Assistant. This is the all-in-one monetization platform for social media content creators who promote food and travel experiences. We're like Patreon for monetizing events and in-person experiences. Everyone in this room knows how hard it is to start a business. And during COVID-19, thousands of creatives took to social media and now want to start a business. But it's even harder for these emerging creatives who don't have a business background. Trust me, I've been trying and struggling for years as an independent creator. So we're solving the monetization platform for local food and travel content creators who review and promote leisure businesses in their own communities. We've built them an all-in-one local monetization solution that centralizes event planning, booking, affiliate marketing, and monetization. Today, Wise Assistant is helping over 570 creators monetize local food experiences, and these creators have brought nearly 7,000 of their subscribers into our ecosystem. Our creators are selling out events each week in the 6 cities that we're active in. Wise Assistant gives them a one-stop shop to build a powerful creative store, market their services using text message and email marketing, and monetize local in-person events and experiences. We've already built the platform and we're about halfway through our pre-seed fundraising round, and we're looking for investors and advisors to join the family. So I'll drop my LinkedIn information in the chat, and I look forward to connecting with more of you this next week.
Michael, how much are you looking to raise? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so we're raising 250,000. We've already raised half of that. That's to accelerate our valuation for a seed round.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any quick questions? All right, thanks, Michael. Appreciate you again. PJ, I'm so glad you're back.
Thanks for having me back. I'll make it different and go quick again since this is my second time. I'm PJ Teza, CEO of Mod Vans. I'll tell you a little story. So my wife and I had a great trip in a giant RV that I had bought used. We brought it home to our home in Berkeley, California, and we realized that the RV was just really way too big for us. You know, I couldn't park it at my house. I had to go pay. It was too big for me to take by myself. It was terrible to drive. It drank gas. It was just not a great fit for us after that one awesome trip. So I looked for a vehicle that could meet all the requirements that we had, kind of like engineers do. Couldn't find anything on the market, and I ended up building one in my garage at the time in Berkeley. And it was an interesting experience. When I was done with it, I was like, that's way harder than I expected, and I'm never doing it again. Life moves on. I had that vehicle. We loved it. We used it for daily living, for driving. It really just fit what we were doing well. And everywhere I took it in California, people would stop me and be like, hey, where can I get one of these vans? Can I see inside? And I'd have to tell them, you know, you can't buy one because I'm not building another one. But things changed in my life, and I got down here and I was like, all right, I'll try the lean startup thing and see if there's any interest in these vans. I pre-sold 10 right off the gate with nothing but pictures of my van and a website. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm building vans because I got these deposits from customers. So here we are 4 years later. We're actually a big leader in both technology and design in the RV industry. We've just taken it over with our lean startup software engineering background. We have the biggest battery, high technology. We've delivered 100 vehicles to paying customers all over the US. So we have some decent traction. We're not a giant manufacturer. That's part of the reason we're here, is we're looking to raise money and kind of get to the next level. And I'm going to share with you 2 things that I think will be fun. Number one is this circuit board came in today. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's pretty complex. We're designing our own circuit board. So this one came in. I got to figure out how to make it work. And that's pretty fun and challenging. And then this week, I actually closed a $100,000 Regulation D investment. So that was pretty exciting for me because my background, as you can see in the links I provided, was all we did some crowdfunding raises in the beginning. So I kind of figured that model out. And so now I'm actually working backwards, like on angel and early startup investment to kind of learn that. So that's all. Thanks.
So PJ and his wife are looking to expand, and they're doing about $10 million this year in business, and they want to have a bigger facility so they can, really ramp this thing up. So if we have any investors in the room in the $10 to $15 million range, PJ and I would like to talk to you about that. You should
That's
also
correct.
go to his website and take a look at the products. They're spectacular, and you'll want to own one if you go to the website. Okay, thank you, PJ. We're going to go now to Jason. Got to get off of mute, Jason. You're up next.
Here. Hey, real quick, since it's my first time here, Mark, do people ever show slides or is it all talky?
It's all talking. We may later, if you want to do slides, though, that's really a Startupbride event, you know, where
Sometimes a picture paints 1,000 words, but no need. I'm Jason Howe. I'm the CEO and the founder of Magvation, and I'll put up this one slide here. Anybody can see that. It basically is a number 2 and 1,400. Of the people that were on this call today, when Magvation succeeds in its mission, 2 of you will have a direct impact on, meaning we might save your life or at least prevent you from having a catastrophic injury in the operating room. Magvation is in the art and the science of literally changing the standard of care in the operating room. The story's personal for everybody here. My dad had multiple myeloma and amyloidosis, and through a series of never events, I've invented 5 products over time and had companies for each one of those. The best exit was a sponge counting to Medtronic. Reason I'm saying that is right now we're taking that to the next level and we're doing sharps counting in the OR. And for those of you who haven't been in the OR, but you will, 5 times in your life, you'll be in the OR. Those are the stats. So when that happens, there's a lot of sharp and scary things, especially little needles, and they have to keep track of those so they don't leave them in you. And the problem with that is they're sharp and scary and small, and they don't keep track of them well. So there's a lot of complications around these things. So Magvation's first product to market to help raise standard of care is called Haystack, and it's an automated computer vision and AI system, if you will. It's a fancy bucket that they drop a needle in, and it counts those needles for them. Instead of right now, they painstakingly take each one, put it in a little box, and write it on the whiteboard. And so we've raised about 5.2 million to date. We're closing out a mezzanine round in the next 2 weeks. If there's anybody, I think we have 187,000 left of our 2 million. But I'm really here to talk about the A round. We think it's the right time for an institutional investor to lead us along. We are right now getting ready to move from our formative into our summative testing at the end of the year, and that's a big FDA milestone. We've had our pre-sub completed and complete proof of concept all the way to an integrated test vehicle, all the way to a formative testing vehicle. And I'll just say that the economics on this infrastructure of a service model hit us at a $289 per case gross margin is pretty compelling. It's budget dust for the ORs, and the ROI is staggering. Number of investors I have is 94, most of which are surgeons. So again, right now, if there's anybody that has quick interest in a short-term round, it's more of a friends and family round, but Mark so far has had a great crew, but really looking for a $5 million round starting sometime at the end of September for a Series A institutional from somebody strategic.
Great. Does anybody have any questions of Jason? Okay, so Jason, I'm also going to be doing a life science event in the near future, you know, so I hope you'll be able to join me for that. This actually is a really neat business model. I've already looked into it. You might want to take a look. Some of you investors contact Jason in the chat. We're going to move on to Scott, who, thank you, Scott, you've been very active tonight, and I so appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, Mark. And that's the first thing I wanted to say is last week was the first week that I participated, and over the last week, just tremendous response and people reaching out. We've actually had 2 projects that we have a pretty high degree of interest in participating in. So I'm gonna let you know that it's working. I think you're kind of bringing the Shark Tank vibe to everyday people and helping them practice their pitch. You know, I've seen some people read their pitch, and then the next week they're starting to memorize it, which memorize your pitch. But anyways, long story short, I'll give you kind of a quick overview of what we do. Ideal Strategic Partners. I am the head of partnerships. I'm also one of the owners. I own equity in the company as well. But we are not a VC. We're not a standard VC. We're not a standard angel investor. We're not an accelerator or an incubator. We're pretty much a hybrid of all the above. So a lot of the projects that we hear that I'm hearing about probably aren't going to be a fit for us. We have 52 advisors that are industry gurus, moguls across a lot of different verticals. They have interest in investing in a lot of the projects that we would hear, but our core business model is really, we have a process called Idea Path. So we partner with entrepreneurs and inventors very early stage, and we help them mainly with, I think, what most inventors and entrepreneurs miss, which is doing a tremendous amount of market research and not going based on what they think is the right idea or what they hope is the right idea, but what they can validate is the right idea. And then once we're able to figure out that information through our process, we then execute and get them as far along through the process to revenue generation as possible, which then we have a large network of VCs that we are kind of a feeder for, and we get as much value going into those conversations as possible so they don't have to give away the farm in order just to stay afloat. So I'm going to list my LinkedIn profile, my company's website, my email address, as well as my company's LinkedIn in the chat. Anybody'd like to reach out? A bunch of people reached out. I didn't get back to everyone this week. It's been a very busy week, but I do want to connect with all of you and plan on doing so. Mark, thanks for the event.
Thanks, Scott. We're going to have to hold off on questions because I want to get us done by the top of the hour, and we have a bunch more that want to also speak. So we're going to move right on to Michael. You're up next. With unmute next. There you go.
All right. So I'm Michael. I was brain injured at birth. I got into the workforce late. I currently work in helping people who have similar issues, and I feel that there are ways to support neurodiverse, marginalized students with better opportunities than they have now. My background is actually as a game developer and event manager for about 15 years, and we're building a diverse organization focused on helping education be more customized to the student. So we're working on programs, we're working on matchmaking to help students connect with mentors and other students to form teams. We're helping with internships, and basically where we're at is we've run a pilot. We're looking to run more pilots in as many places as possible. We have interest in like 5 or 6 states, and we're just looking to scale. And we're looking to raise, I'm open to smaller rounds, but we believe to like really expand and hit like all 50 states, which would be our goal by 2025. We're looking for about 2.5 million.
Outstanding. I'd like to see more information on what you're doing. I'm curious,
Okay.
but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do question and answer if I'm going to get everybody in, I fear. So thank you, Michael, so much. I'd love, so Gary Goldstein is up next. I've been on the board of directors of Instinctive for I don't know how many years now. You might remember Gary. Gary is a special talent and friend, and I'm glad you're here for the first time. So welcome.
I'm also
Gary.
a guinea pig, right, Mark?
Pardon me?
I'm also a guinea pig.
Yeah, you were the first startup that I started to play around with the model of recruiting people to the new people. And yeah, thank you, Gary. It's been a long adventure. I've enjoyed being on the board of directors of your company. Please share about Instinctive to the rest of our audience.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, and I love to see what this has evolved into. I can only imagine what the future holds for you. So congratulations.
Thanks.
So my name's Gary Goldstein. As Mark said, I'm the CEO of Instinctive. Instinctive is a proven solution for increasing and has an increasing number of service provider distributors, increasing number of clients, now over 85, almost 90, and increasing revenues month over month, and we're ready to ramp our growth. So there's two major problems that Instinctive is solving. Businesses want to buy best of breed solutions, but want them on an integrated basis. This reduces data errors, allows them to be more efficient, more effective, and improve delivery, improve employee morale. Service providers need to leverage technology in order to compete and retain their and increase their books of business. Instinctive solves these problems as a white label, multi-tiered architected SaaS solution. And essentially, Instinctive keeps all HR and employee data in sync. That's where we get our name. So Instinctive is a human capital, people, and workforce data management data platform for service providers, their SME clients, to facilitate the automation and management of office or remote-based employees, very timely in today's market. Instinctive has 4 integrated product lines that can be offered separately: document automation and management, HRS and compliance, employee benefits administration, including premium billing, reconciliation solutions, and now electronic payments. The 4th module is the Instinctive Integrated Hub, and it's really unique, and it integrates to best of breed solutions, which allows us to provide customized solutions for every service provider and their SME clients. The Instinctive Hub also solves known age-old problems and creates new ecosystems and solve others. Instinctive has 5 different revenue streams that drive monthly recurring revenues. We have a great team that has over 85 years of industry experience, 2 successful exits, and 1 person had an IPO with Workday and Viva Systems as a product engineer. And this experience that allows us to know where to hit the market, how to differentiate our company, and how to win. I've invested over $2.3 million into convertible notes, and we are looking for $3 million in Series Seed preferred at a $12 million pre-money. I invite you to invest your money beside mine.
And what Gary has is proven, it's working. There's no, this isn't prototyping, this is like scaling. So we need money for scaling and getting the right team. Thank you, Gary. I got to move on though, because I want to get everybody in. So next up is Sandeep.
Hi, Sandeep. Hi, Mark. After a long time, I've met you.
Yes.
Quickly, I'll read through what I have and I'll explain it a little better. So basically, we are in the field of sustainable development goal consultancy with a special emphasis on the goal number 9, that is industry and innovation, and goal number 11, that is smart cities and communities. Today, I will be talking about the smart cities and communities. So here we have 2 distinct sets of synergistic services. One is the environmental architectural design part, and something which we have created very new, that is the climate change as a sustainability service. I think I don't have to explain what is the impact of climate change to anybody around the room. And so what we have done is that we introduced a unique climate change consulting service, which we call CAS, that is climate change as a sustainability service. And it is jointly provided with our Switzerland and Denmark-based partners, which will enhance your business prospects and profits. Basically, as all of you would be aware, climate change increases the likelihood of credit default, which in turn could jeopardize the financial stability. Without reliable climate-related financial information, financial markets cannot price climate-related risks and opportunities correctly. Understanding and owning this risk requires knowing both the likelihood of high loss years and the diversity of events that could produce such losses. Our architectural and design consultancy firm has this inbuilt capacity with our EU-based and ESG and meteorological firm, which is basically based in Paris and in Denmark, and they have been one of the partners in writing the Paris Agreement. And this gives us the capacity and the knowledge that what we are doing is on the right path. And what we can do is we can provide climate risk impact analysis, both on the short and the long term. When it is applied to building and infrastructure, commodities and capital goods industry, accurate prediction of climate change can make the difference between risk and opportunities for the business now and in the future. And our architectural model goes through the details same to see that all aspects of climate resilience, both abatement and mitigations, are met. All aspects of designs of physical objects, the built environment, the service are tested to comply with ecological sustainability. This is the hallmark of our commitment and expertise. And it takes into account biodiversity, chemical cycling, and renewable energy. We aim to create resilient cities, integrated smart cities on private land banks or company townships, as you may say, in US, which would be about 100 acres and more. And it can be done both in India and abroad. We are more seeking for partners to come into India to bring in their company townships and make in India, while other countries are today becoming less interesting to Europe and America to work with. So this is one advantage we are trying to bring in, and yet try to build them as climate resilient, so that your commitments towards net zero and other things can be taken care of. What we are looking at is we are looking at companies which would partner with us with an equity. All the money which we are looking at is only for marketing and promotion, because as you know, our services can pay for itself once we design, and it gives us good profit. Thank you so much.
Sandeep, thank you very much. It might be helpful because your voice did fade in and out if you have any way of describing what you're doing in the chat, just so those that might have missed a few words here or there will more fully understand. But thank you so much. We like
okay, thank you. I'll send it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to John Goldstone.
Hi, good evening, and thanks for the opportunity. My name is John Goldstone, and I'm the president and CEO of Goldstein Chemical Innovations. We've been in business for 5 years. We're a C Corp, and we currently lease space in Auburn, Washington. We lease lab space. We're a team of 3, and we're actually looking to hire a chemist. We'd love to get somebody with a PhD in chemistry, but don't have a lot of money to pay, as most young fledgling companies do. So anyway, if you know of anybody in the Seattle area who's a chemist, we're interested. A little bit about us. I guess, first of all, our products, I'll try and keep this jargon free. We really make physical products, think of high performance plastics. And I will talk just a touch about the chemistry because it's integral to what we do. So in 2005, Bob Grubbs, Yves Chavant, and Dick Schrock out of MIT, Bob Grubbs was in Caltech, got the Nobel Prize for ROMP chemistry. Dr. A.J. Goldstein, a little bit later, was who our company is named after, was a postdoc for Bob Grubbs. Now, Dr. Goldstein invented a metal-free way to do this same set of reactions. So the metals that were used by the Nobel Prize winning chemistry was ruthenium, molybdenum, and tungsten. So Dr. Goldstein, who was at the University of Washington at the time, invented a metal-free way to do this. He is now a full professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. As far as funding, we've largely managed to go the SBIR, STTR route. We had 2 NSF grants, both phase 1. We did get investment from a strategic partner, 3D Systems. And then we got a phase 1, a cooperative research agreement, and now we're working on a phase 2 from the Department of Defense, the US Army. And for intellectual property, we have 2 US patents. Actually, I guess the University of Washington is the assignee on the patents, but we have exclusive rights. So we have one in the foundational technology, we have one in 3D printing, and then we have a European patent that's currently pending. I think we're in the final stages there. So as far as market segments, really high performance plastics, thermosets, thermoplastics, think about large windmill blades. Need to be both very strong and impact resistant. If you think about bird strikes or things like that, would tend to crack epoxies and other materials like that. Second is 3D printing, and for anybody who knows me, you'll know that I'm just as honest as the day is long. We've worked damn hard on that, and we really haven't gotten a solid base hit on that one yet. So that's one that we have a patent on. It's still on our radar, but we're not actively pursuing it at this instant. Now, for ballistic resistant plastics, that is one that we're pursuing, and that's one that the Department of Defense has interest in, hence our phase 2. So on that one, we got a performance that was 10% above on the V50 test that the Army typically does. And that was certainly an encouraging result, and has helped us get, a handful of customers, I'd say under a dozen. We're entirely B2B. I don't know what we would do with a consumer, probably throw them out the door or something, because that's just not, not what we do. So in terms of financial, we have a CPA who, of course, keeps us straight with government and federal government accounting. And I guess what we're really looking for would be, strategic partners or strategic folks who understand chemistry, understand the chemical background, and then have experience with serving the military as a customer base. The U.S. Army is our single largest customer.
Great. By the way, John, I know some chemical fund that may be interested. So reach out to me so I might be able to hook you up, and remind me that's what I mentioned to you. I won't remember unless you remind me, but I do know somebody I can hook you up with. Thank you very much, John. Very interesting. Okay, so next up is David, who is actually a famous inventor. I have been watching David and following his inventions for a few years now. So it's great to have you join us, David. Let's hear what you're up to.
Thank you. And do I push any button?
We're hearing you. You're live.
Okay. I have a tip path which was focused on what energy source could be invented that operates 24 hours a day with no variables, doesn't require wind, solar energy, anything, and eliminates strategic materials. Like you hear people mention. So ours is a deep water generator. So that's patent pending. So if you went to the bottom of a boat, a big boat, and you had a port where you opened a valve, the water would spray out of the boat. So that deep water pressure source is 24 hours a day. It's the pressure from the surface to the port. And I could put turbines, pneumatic generators, but I invented a high pressure piston that never requires lubricants. And I did that under Ford Motor Company and one of their supplier, because I represented Ford's patents for the first time to license Ford technology. So if you, and to lift the used water, once you use the pressure of the water, you have to get out of the boat. I have tubes that buoyant balls are put in, and it's like a siphoning system, but the balls lift, they're put in by every 1 meter, and then they're recycled to the bottom. They're buoyant balls, like a sports ball, but that all works. And then it's all controlled by Kevin Suppinger's patent. I wrote, it was awarded, and internationally, and I can control this all over the cloud, and all our circuits and software are certified for cars, aircraft, factories, you name it. And that's even in the semiconductor shortage, we rebuilt the circuits. And so it's done. And yesterday, the Nordic, Seattle Nordic Museum board members stopped by my house and they're building. So I have the top people in every industry. This is simple. All the strategic materials do not matter. Thanks.
Thank you, David. It's actually nice to meet you finally. You and I have been exchanging emails and things, messages for years now. David has a wealth of IP. I mean, too much to go over in one night. And I appreciate, David, hopefully you can come back and be a regular so we can get to know you better. So appreciate it. I'm gonna have to move on though tonight. We're gonna now go to Damon next.
By Damon, I hope you meant me, Damon Bush.
Damon, of course.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry so much.
No problem. No problem. So many people in here. Hi, everybody. My name is Damon Bush. I'm the founder of Instacash. Instacash is a peer-to-peer mobile wallet that we're creating for the Latin community. We've been building this for the past couple of years. I started my journey. I built our first app, which is Instapass, which is a ticket marketplace. I come from AEG. With that app, I wanted to solve the cash consumer problems in the ticket industry. After COVID hit, we ended up having to rethink how we were going to move forward. So we started to build a mobile wallet. So some of our partners, like at SoFi Stadium, suggested moving forward, we'd need a cashless and paperless process. So we started developing Instacash. We just graduated from the New Chip Accelerator. Right now, we've raised $250,000, friends and family via Safe Contract, and we'll be raising $1 million in our next round, our seed round. We have a partnership with Univision and a trademark agreement with Instagram. We hope to provide many different financial solutions to the Latin community. That's pretty much it. If anyone is interested in learning more, let us know. We'd send you a deck and more information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Damon. I'm looking forward to learning more. And I'm sure everybody else is as well. We're gonna have to move on though. Up next is Daniel. You'll have to put on your camera, so we can see you if you're gonna do an elevator pitch.
Hello everyone. My name is Daniel, calling all the way from Kenya. I was born in one of the rural area in Kenya, and accessing healthcare was a problem, especially when it comes to a specialist, looking for a specialist. So what we did is we have developed a solution called Hospital. Hospital is an AI-powered platform that connects other sub-markets with specialists. We've been running the company since last year, and we have been able to offer our reach almost 10,000 users in awareness and about 2,000 users per day, per month. What we are looking for is, one is we are looking for partners to help us scale the product through Kenya and then later in Africa, and also investment. We are raising about $200K US for now helping us through the process. I'll be happy to answer any question and happy to work with anyone in healthcare.
Daniel, if you can put your information in the chat, that's the best thing right now. We just don't have time for a lot of questions because I want to end on time tonight. So thank you so much. I'm gonna, Aisha, if I'm pronouncing you right, we'll need you to go on video if you'd like to actually present to us. Thank you.
Hello. Hi everyone. I guess my video is on. Hi everyone. My name is Aisha Husseini and I am the founder of Keza Africa. So just a bit of introduction. Keza Africa is powering smartphone financing in Africa. If I asked all of you on the call here right now with me, how you have currently purchased your phone. If you're either paying for your phone every month through your network provider, or if you pay cash for your phone. I know I don't have the opportunity to ask questions, but I'm very sure that mostly 50% of people here are paying, for their phone every now and then. Nigerians don't have the opportunity to do that, especially Africans. When people want to buy phones on my continent, we typically have to pay cash upfront, right? Because smartphones are really not that affordable, and credit is not as available as it is in the US and other developed nations as it should be, right, in Nigeria. And so what Keza essentially is doing is making smartphones more affordable for people by providing the tech, by providing every infrastructure that companies need to embed smartphone financing in other business operations. So if I were to give an example, think of Keza as the company that enables, think of Keza as the company that enables companies like O2, companies like Vodafone, companies like 3 to be able to pass smartphone financing to their customers. So we're giving them the white label solution. We're bringing the lock-in technology. We're bringing every infrastructure that they possibly need to provide smartphone financing to their customers. So we did a proof of concept, released an MVP for customers to apply online directly through us. In this time, we've gotten over 30,000 applications, 30,000 web visits and 3,000 applications. It's really, we've done no ads, we've done nothing, right, in this time. And as well as onboarded business partners, we've also started having conversations with one of the largest telecom providers on the continent to power smartphone financing for them. And these people have about 63 million customers. We also have one of the largest banks in Nigeria as well, who wants to partner with us to provide smartphone financing to their employees that we have on the pipeline. So essentially, we have all these major leads of companies that want to embed smartphone financing into their business model. And so to do this and to be able to deliver on these requests that we have, we need $250,000 at the very minimum to build the tech that we require to embed in their solution, right? So that's the white label solution that we need to embed for them. So first things first, we need the money to build the tech. Secondly, we need to actually raise to hire talent. We don't have enough talent that's working with us right now. So we need talent across tech, across product and across biz dev. And last thing we need is also money for our operations, right? To expand our operations across Nigeria and to build out our product essentially. That's it from me. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, are you the CEO of your company?
Yes, I am the CEO. I'm the CEO and founder of Keza.
Fantastic. I wish we would have more female CEOs attend our events. I love that. The more the better.
Interesting.
Fantastic.
Interesting. Thank you.
I second. I'd be very interested in talking to you. I work with Etisalat. I'm sure you know.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, I'll get your contact. Can you put your contact in the chat?
Perfect. Okay, we're going to move on.
Thank you.
Prasad, you're up next.
Yeah, good morning from India here. So my name is Sujit and I represent Addis Technologies Private Limited. We are basically into animal digital information systems. So we are driving or developing a unique digital world for animals based on animal biometrics. So it's a non-invasive way of tagging animals and a way in which we don't rely on one particular single hardware to recognize the animal. It is as simple as you take a mobile phone, you take a picture of the animal, send it to us. We will help you find out which animal it is, which breed it belongs to, what's the ownership details, is it hypothecated or is it insured, what are its health records. As you all know, animals will not be able to tell you what has been the previous past history of their medical records. So eventually these records which we capture will actually help us understand the previous history, what diagnosis has been done, and help actually to treat the animal in a very holistic way, considering the present signs and symptoms of the animal as well as the past history. So this tags, we call it biotags, would be helpful basically to also insure the animals, also hypothecate the animals if they have been financed, and also help in conservation of very rare breeds. For example, cattle, there are very rare breeds in India here. We have more than 50 breeds of cattle in India. So with the help of our feature recognition tools, who work on AI and ML algorithms, we can based on the photos and the videos which we generate from our app, we can directly know which breed it belongs to. So to find out in situ which breed one particular animal is from would be a great way to know where these rare breeds are standing off. They have their own importance with respect to the geography and would play a major role basically in addressing climate change. These are very adaptive breeds down here. So this whole process, we have got different revenue models for us, which we work on with the banks, with the insurance companies, with the breed associations, and we are moving not only from we are not only based on cattle, we are moving to horses, dogs. We are working on a project in which biometric passports for horses would be developed from here. So all this is done based on our proprietary algorithm, which we have patented. We have got the provisional patent number right now with us, and we are scaling up. So through this forum, I would be happy to connect with the people who are interested into conservation of breeds, holistic animal approach, who are interested into banking and insurance of animals, and animal care should be the next level which we should be looking at. So we are building a whole ecosystem which could be used as a platform for animal welfare.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Thank you much. Yeah.
That's very interesting, different from what we are normally been pitched. Please put your information in the chat so people can get a hold of you if there's any additional interest. That's great. We're gonna go now to Mark.
Okay, and I say myself for last because I'm a qualified investor and I support angel investors, but I'm a PhD chemist. I'm mainly a consultant and I support many angel groups. In fact, Scott Livingston online, he had a talk I went to over a year ago, and I've consulted for a COVID diagnostic startup for the last over a year based on his involvement. And I support other startups and pre-startups when people have questions. There's something called Chemical Angel Network. So I'm on the really nerdy side. I'm a MIT undergrad, PhD, UC Berkeley, then semi-industry, photovoltaics, instruments, indoor air quality, water, air, gases, just anything chemistry and technology. And I basically support technology companies. One comment I'll just make that might be helpful to some people. If you look at my picture, I just put my exact email address in there and who I am and where I am so people know. So it's very easy to contact you and you could see the actual person and stuff like that. So that's just something that people, if you don't want to be contacted, yeah, don't do it. But if you want to be contacted for some reason, you might put that information in there and it just makes people easy for people to contact you. And that's it for me.
That was a great idea and a fantastic suggestion. And thank you, Mark. I appreciate you, especially being an angel investor, putting yourself out there like that. We do have some investors in the room as well. And also Scott Livingston is in my life as well. I just attended one of his events yesterday, and he's one of the greatest connectors of terrific people in our community. So you may want to get to know Scott. I want to
Scott at livingstonsecurities.com or hit me up on LinkedIn. But if you do, just say that you're a friend of Mark November. So, I'll give you like the VIP treatment.
There you go. You're too kind. So to our community, our beautiful, amazing community, especially all of you who are here at the end of our 2 hours, because I know it takes a little bit of time and it's a commitment. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for making this dream come true. I really knew this would work, and we're already off to an amazing start. I hope you'll continue to keep coming back. I look forward to your suggestions of how I can improve the community. I don't know that I have all the best ideas just yet, but I'm getting a lot of really good suggestions from everybody. And I hope that we will double, triple, quadruple the participation, as the year goes on. So please, keep coming back for more. And I'm going to wrap it up right now and say good night to all of you, or good morning if you're somewhere else in the rest of the world. And thank you again.
And
bye-bye.
Three little
Thanks,
dots.
Mark. Great
three
job,
little
buddy.
dots at the bottom. You can save the chat if you want. Three
Well,
little
great
dots.
good point. Thank you for that. Please look and save the chat if you need to get all that key information. Bye-bye to everybody. Good night.
Bye-bye.